Summary of Focal Point. A proven system to simplify your life, double your productivity and achieve all your goals. By Brian Tracy. Place the X. Not too long ago, a nuclear power plant was experiencing a serious technical problem. As a result, energy generation was reduced and the efficiency of the entire operation was severely compromised. The plant's engineers were totally stymied and unable to identify, let alone solve, the problem. Finally, management imported one of the nation's top consultants on nuclear power plant construction and engineering, and turned him loose on the problem. For the next couple of days, the consultant walked around in a white coat, peering at the hundreds of gauges and dials in the control room, scribbling notes and calculations. At the end of the second day he uncapped a black felt tip marker, climbed a ladder, and placed a large, black X on one of the gauges. "This is the problem," he explained. "Repair and replace the apparatus connected to this meter, and the problem will be solved." After the consultant had turned in his white coat and departed, the engineers followed his advice, and sure enough, he had isolated the problem. The plant was shortly back to operating at full capacity. About a week later, the plant manager received a bill for $10,000 for services rendered. The manager, although pleased to have the problem solved, thought the bill was excessive for 2 days of poking around in a single, black X. Accordingly, he wrote to the consultant and asked him to break down and itemize his charges. A few days later, the plant manager received a new invoice from the consultant, as follows: for placing X on the gauge, $1. For knowing where to place the X, $9,999. Knowing where to place the X is everything. Your focal point. Knowing where to place the X in each part of your life is the most important single principle in determining your success, your achievement and your happiness. X is your focal point, the single thing you can do in that area, at that particular moment, to maximize your favorable return. Whether you are dealing with business, investments, a sporting endeavor, or your personal relationships, there is always a focal point that has a greater impact on your results than anything else you might do. Clarity. The central concept here is clarity. You need to be absolutely clear about who you are and what you really want. Given that clarity, you can learn to achieve your most important goals more quickly and easily than you had ever thought possible. You can learn to tap into and use your personal powers at a higher level than ever before. You can double your income, you can reduce the number of hours you work each week, you can acquire control over your time and your life, you can dramatically improve the quality of your relationships, all by utilizing clarity and focus. 4 steps to focus. Essentially, there are only 4 ways that you can improve the quality of your life and work. 1. You can do more of certain things. 2. You can do less of certain things. 3. You can start to do things you are not doing at all today. 4. You can stop doing certain things altogether. In other words, you can concentrate on the things that are of greater value or that bring greater rewards and satisfaction. You can stop pursuing activities or behaviors that either contribute little to your success or are actively negative in those terms. You can choose to acquire new skills, begin new projects, or to change the actual focus of some part of your life. You can stand back to take a long, hard look at your life, and make a conscious decision to discontinue activities or behaviors that are inconsistent with your goals. Collectively, these 4 simple steps constitute a roadmap to becoming an effective, fulfilled person. There are almost no limits on those who apply the focal point process to their lives. Accepting responsibility. The bottom line is this: it's all up to you. Only you can choose to make whatever changes are necessary. And it's a matter of responsibility as much as choice. You can choose to take responsibility for your life. This acceptance of personal responsibility is the foundation on which your achievements will be built. In a nutshell, what separates the average person from the person of great accomplishment is the willingness to accept personal responsibility. It's as simple as that. There is no other way to gain control over your life. If you make excuses, if you blame circumstances or other people for negative outcomes, if you complain and criticize, you are squandering your power and your potential. Responsibility and power go hand in hand. When you attempt to pass off responsibility to others, you become a victim and begin to see yourself as a victim. That's a dead-end road. You can't afford to take that path. The law of increasing returns. Studies have proven, over and over again, that the act of observation changes the results of any activity for the better. This is true even, and especially, if you are the observer and your own activities are the subject of your attention. One of the best ways to improve your performance at anything is to carefully study yourself as you engage in that task. This is basically what the focal point process is about, identifying the most vital activities and behaviors in a certain area, and focusing upon these critical behaviors and actions to maximize the gains realized from them. We call it the law of increasing returns. The more we can focus on the things that represent the most valuable use of our time, the better we become at them. As we progress on these critical areas, we find that we can accomplish more, with less effort, than ever before. The Grand Slam formula. The focal point process relies heavily in what is called the Grand Slam formula: simplification, leverage, acceleration, and multiplication. In a nutshell, you must simplify by eliminating activities that take too much time while contributing little or nothing to your overall goals. A good question to ask yourself is there anything I am doing right now that, knowing what I now know, I wouldn't get into again if I were starting over today? If the answer is yes, that activity is a candidate for elimination as you simplify your life. The next component of the formula is leverage. As Archimedes said, "Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I can move the world." In human, everyday terms, leverage that you can apply to your advantage might include other people's knowledge, energy, money, successes, failures, ideas, and contacts. Basically, one thing all truly successful people have in common is their willingness to borrow from and build upon the experiences of others, coupled with a wide-ranging awareness of what is going on around them. Doubling income and time off. By taking 6 easy and logical steps, you can double both the income you take home and the amount of time that you have to spend at home away from work. 1. Identify the key tasks that contribute the greatest value to your work. Do this with absolute clarity by consulting with your boss and co-workers. 2. Begin the process of eliminating or delegating tasks that contribute only marginally, if at all, to your productivity. 3. Start using the Grand Slam formula to increase your output and your results. With the help of others, simplify, leverage, accelerate and multiply your talents and abilities. 4. Make the decision, today, to take at least one full day a week off from work, and use that day exclusively on your personal life and activities. 5. As you become comfortable with your one work-free day each week, expand on it. Move to 2 days a week. Schedule a 3-day vacation every 2 months. Reorganize your life so time off becomes a major priority. 6. Finally, begin today to pay closer attention to everything you do. Consider every task carefully before you begin it. Single out your most important tasks at any given time and concentrate on them single-mindedly. Simply by thinking through your activities continually, you will begin to develop new and beneficial habits. Build on this, let it grow, and you will be amazed at the improvements that follow in every area of your life. Example, the 7 Rs of simplification. There are 7 steps that you can take to simplify your life. 1. Rethinking. Whenever you find yourself overwhelmed with too much work and too little time, step back and take a hard look at your work and your priorities. Ask yourself if there might be a better way. Visualize yourself as an outside consultant brought in to evaluate you. Remain open and receptive to the idea that your current approach may be wrong. 2. Re-evaluating. Whenever you acquire new and relevant information, stop the clock for a timeout. Jack Welch of General Electric calls this the reality principle. To apply it effectively, you must be absolutely honest with yourself. You can't get away with wishful thinking. You have to see things the way they are now, not the way you wish they were or the way you think they used to be. Evaluate every situation in the here and now of reality. 3. Reorganizing. Reorganization, in a nutshell, pursues the goal of greater output from the same or lesser quantity of input. It is the key to simplification. Particularly in turbulent times of rapid change, reorganization must be a continual priority. Reorganize your workspace for every new task. Reorganize your schedule throughout the day. Reorganize your priorities on the fly. There is always a better way. Reorganize whatever you have to in order to become as efficient as possible. 4. Restructuring. As you become more aware of which activities constitute the 20% of your time that produces 80% of your results, restructuring comes into play. Companies restructure by focusing most of their energy on the products, services, or activities their customers value most highly. At the same time, they delegate, outsource, or eliminate non-revenue generating activities that do not affect customer satisfaction. You can apply this principle to your own work and life. 5. Re-engineering. Process improvement. Re-engineering is one of the most powerful tools you can use in your drive towards simplification. When you constantly seek newer, better, faster, or cheaper ways to get a task done, only good results can follow. 6. Reinventing. Having accomplished the above, turn your focus towards reinventing yourself. The task is already well begun. Continue it by applying zero-based thinking to yourself and your work. Ask yourself, if I were not doing it this way, knowing what I know now, would I start it up again this way? Keep looking ahead. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Reinvent yourself as you go, refining and polishing and simplifying, and there is no limit to your potential. 7. Regaining control. This is what it all comes down to, regaining control of your own life. Set goals, make plans, make decisions, and commit to new actions. Accept responsibility. Take charge of your life. Don't wait for good things to happen, go out and make things happen. This is the essence of control.